Hi, I'm Becky Lyons. Welcome to Jesus Speaks in the Book of Mormon and in Dreams. So today we are reading from Alma chapter 56. This is one of the best chapters in the Book of Mormon. It is all about Helaman's 2000 stripling warriors. So these were the sons of the anti-Nephi Lehis. They made a covenant with God that they would never shed blood, that they would never kill again. And so their sons, anywhere from ages 14 to like 20, they go to battle for the dads because the dads made that covenant, but the sons didn't make the covenant. And so these mothers and fathers brought them up in righteousness, and they taught them that God would deliver them if they kept commandments and they let God prevail in their lives, that God would deliver them. And that's exactly what happened. Not a single one of them gets killed, and it's just a miracle. And I love this story. But we're going to read the first half today, and then we're going to read the second half tomorrow because it's like 60 verses, or 57. Okay, so Helaman sends an epistle to Moroni recounting the state of war with the Lamanites. Antipas and Helaman gain a great victory over the Lamanites. Helaman's 2,000 stripling warriors, Helaman's 2,000 stripling sons fight with miraculous power, and none of them are killed or slain. And now it came to pass, in the commencement of the 30th year of the reign of the judges, on the second day in the first month, Captain Moroni received an epistle from Helaman, stating the affairs of the people in that quarter of the land. And these are the words which Captain Moroni wrote, saying, My dearly beloved brothers, Moroni, as well as in the Lord as in the tribulations of our warfare, behold, my beloved brothers, I have somewhat to tell you concerning our warfare in this part of the land. Behold, 2,000 of the sons of those men whom Ammon brought down out of the land of Nephi, so that's the anti-Nephi Lehis. Now you've known that these were the descendants of Laman, who was the eldest son of our father Lehi. Now I need not rehearse unto you concerning their traditions of their unbelief, for thou knowest concerning all these things. Therefore it suffices me that I tell you that 2,000 of these young men have taken up their weapons of war, and would that I should be their leader, and we have come forth to defend our country. And now ye also know concerning the covenant which their fathers had made, that they would not take up their weapons of war against their brothers to shed blood. Once again, they are the anti-Nephi Lehis, and they had covenanted to God that they wouldn't shed blood, so then their sons will fight, so that, because their sons didn't make that covenant once again. But in the 26 years, when they saw our afflictions and tribulations for them, they were about to break the covenant which they had made to God, and to take up their weapons of war in defense of their land and their people. But I would not suffice them, and I would not suffer them that they should break this covenant with God, supposing that God would strengthen us insomuch that we would not suffer more because of the fulfilling of the oath which they had taken. But behold, here is one thing in which we do have great joy. For behold, in the 26th year I, Helaman, did march at the head of the 2,000 stripling young warriors to the city of Judea, to assist Antipas, who had yet appointed a leader over the people of that part of the land. And I did join my 2,000 stripling warriors, for they are to be worthy to be called sons. So I did join my 2,000 sons to the army of Antipas, in which strength Antipas did rejoice exceedingly. For behold, his army had been reduced by the Lamanites, and had been because their forces have been slain and killed a vast number of our men, which cause we have to mourn. But nevertheless, we may console ourselves in this point, that they have died in the cause of their country and the cause of their God, happy, and they are happy. And the Lamanites had also retained many prisoners, all of whom are chief captains, for none other have they spared alive, and this we suppose that they are now at this time in the land of Nephi, but they are not slain. And now these are the cities of which the Lamanites have obtained possession by the shedding of the blood of so many of our valiant men. The land of Manti, or the city of Manti, the city of Zeezrom, the city of Cumeni, and the city of Antipara. And these are the cities which they possessed. When I arrived at the city of Judea, and I found Antipas and his men toiling with their might to fortify the city. Yea, and they were depressed in body as well as in spirit, for they had fought valiantly by day and toiled by night to maintain their cities. Thus they had suffered great afflictions of every kind. And now they are determined to conquer this place or die. Therefore you may well suppose that this little force which I brought with me, yea, these sons of mine, gave great hopes and much, much joy. Now it came to pass that when the Lamanites saw that Antipas had received a greater strength to his army, They were compelled to join the order of Amram to not come against the city of Judea or against us to battle. Thus we were favored of the Lord, and thus they had come up upon us in our weakness, that they might have perhaps destroyed our little army. But thus we were preserved by God. They were commanded by Amram to maintain these cities which they had taken, and this ended the 26th year. And in the commencement of the 27th year, we had prepared our cities and ourselves for defense against the enemy. Now we are desirous that the Lamanites should come upon us, for we are not desirous to make an attack upon them in their strongholds. It came to pass that we kept spies round about to watch the movements of the Lamanites, that they might not pass us by night nor by day, to make an attack upon our cities which were upon the northward. For we knew in these cities that they were not sufficiently strong to meet them. Wherefore we were desirous, if they should pass us, to fall upon them in the rear, and thus bring them up in the rear at the same time that they are met in the front. We supposed that we could overpower them, but behold, we were disappointed in this our desire. They durst not pass by us with their whole army, neither durst they with a part, lest they should not be sufficiently strong, and they should fall. Neither durst they march down against the city of Zarahemla, neither durst they cross the head of the Sidon over to the city of Nephi-Ha. Thus with their forces they were determined to maintain those cities which they had taken. Now came to pass in the 2nd month of the year, there was brought unto us many provisions from the fathers of my 2,000 sons. And there is also 2,000 men sent unto us from the land of Zarahemla. And thus we were prepared with 10,000 men and provisions for them, also for their wives and for their children. And the Lamanites, thus seeing our forces increasing daily, and provisions arriving for our support, they began to be fearful, and began to sally forth, as if it were possible, to put an end to our receiving provisions and strength. Now when we saw that the Lamanites had begun to grow uneasy, on the wise we were desirous to bring a stratagem into effect upon them. Therefore Antipas ordered that I should march forth with my little sons to a neighboring city, as if we're carrying provisions to a neighboring city. So we're going to stop there. That's 30. And I just was looking back, trying to think about some things here. So these are some applications we can make to our lives. So in verse 20 it says, we had prepared our city and ourselves for defense. So are we preparing ourselves for defense against the enemy every day? Are we putting on the whole armor of God? And then 21, we are desirous that Lamanites should come upon us. Yea, we were not desirous to make an attack upon them in their strongholds. So are we asking Jesus Christ to help us, to give us his strength and his power, and to let him fight our battles against the enemy? Or are we trying to do it on our own and taking up Satan and all of his strongholds? We don't ever want to do that. We won't ever win. But if we let Jesus Christ, if we draw upon Jesus Christ's power and strength and ask him to help us, he will win the battle with Satan every time. And then in verse 22, we kept spies round about to watch the movement of the Lamanites, that they might not pass us by night or by day, to make an attack on the other cities which were northward. So do we know what the enemy's plans are? Do we know what his strategies and his tactics are? So that, are we watching our enemy so that we know when he's going to attack? Or are we being spiritually casual and spiritually lazy with our covenants? And are we letting the enemy in little tiny ways? Something for you and me to think about tonight. I challenge you to think about that, and then we'll read the exciting half tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow.